Hello, happy Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in to the Katy Sissine Show, addressing the indoctrination of the American nation. As always, I'm your host, Katy Sissine, and we are continuing with the topic from yesterday's episode. In the background, you can see we've got the same video playing. It's about crossing the border over Mexico to the United States, the largest migration corridor in the world by a long shot. And yesterday on the show, we talked about President Nieto, President of Mexico, Enrique Peña Nieto, and his protest against the wall. And he declared that Mexico is not in support of the wall. And he also declared through the Associated Press that this is not going to unite the people. This is actually going to divide us. What I have to say about that is, yes, physically, it will divide us, of course, and obviously, as there will be a physical structure blocking the border. But in the long run, the objective is that it will unite us, and the idea is that it will unite us. First, it will unite the American people, and then it will help unite the people of Mexico, Central America, and South America that try to come into the United States illegally, and many of them die on their way here, and it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous trek. There are many Latin American movies. As some of you may or may not know, I spent a lot of time studying Spanish language and culture, and I've watched a lot of movies on South Americans, Central Americans, and Mexicans crossing the border, and many of them died tragically. It's been going on for decades. And as of relatively recently, immigration from Mexico has declined, but crime rates of illegal aliens is still significant and prevalent in society. So much so that we do need a solution. And not only for that reason, for economic reasons. We lose billions every year in GDP to money that is remitted from Mexicans here in the US, legally or illegally, who remit money back to friends and family in Mexico as gifts, but probably just to pay the bills. Who knows? Anyway, Trump also put out a statement on the issue through the USA Today, broadcasted by the USA Today, which we saw a video of on the last episode. And he said that the wall will actually deter illegal immigration from Central America. Of course it will, which will make their people safer, which will help keep their country focused on their own domestic issues versus thinking that their people can just up and leave. And then they can be the quote unquote problem of another nation. And I don't want to call people problems, but essentially that's what's happening. And it's just very unfair to both Mexican and American citizens. Anyway, Trump also said that through this border protection, we're going to eventually get the gangs out of the United States that are composed of illegal immigrants. Many from Mexico, of course, as that is the most prevalent group of immigrants in the United States. And anyway, these results will, of course, benefit both the United States and Mexico. Now, a lot of people are complaining about the tariffs that will increase, saying that America will pay for the wall. And, you know, it may seem like that, but with the amount of GDP that we'll save each year, we will get that money back, because it's billions of dollars in GDP that we are losing, that is being sent out of the United States, that is being remitted out of the United States. So in the long run, this is a winning solution. And it is not an example of xenophobia, as a lot of people had argued. It is not an example of xenophobia. This is an example of the most powerful state in the world taking measures necessary to protect and defend the most powerful nation in the world, and thus the most threatened nation in the world. When you are number one, yes, you have a lot of power, but you also have a lot of people that want your power. So the US, more than any other state in the world, has a crucial objective of protecting its borders in order to secure this nation, which is currently the most powerful state in the entire world. Now, this is a big deal. Now, let's show the immigrant inflows and immigrants as percentage of population, the ranks of the world we've got here. This is from Forbes. This was published in an article through Forbes in 2012. And it looks like from this rank in 2012, which is probably 99% still accurate today, that the United States has the most immigrant inflows. And this is in thousands. The chart you see on your left-hand side is in thousands. So the United States nearly doubles the immigrant inflow of Germany. And this is also on an annual basis. And on your right-hand side of the screen, we see that we are number 12. The U.S. is number 12 of the quantity of immigrants as percentage of population. 12% of the citizens of the United States are immigrants. Now, does this account for illegal immigrants? I don't believe so, as they are not recorded legally in the census, but maybe it does. So of course, if it doesn't include illegal immigrants, we would definitely be higher on the list, as we receive an abnormally high amount of illegal immigrants due to the open borders between Mexico and the United States, which Trump is obviously seeking to mitigate. So very interesting. And then of course we see Israel. We know there's a lot of immigration there. That's the number 2 spot. Anyway, on the left, just as a summary, the inflow in thousands, U.S. ranks number 1 on annual immigrant inflows. And on the right, the percentage of population, U.S. ranks number 12. Now moving on from that, why do we need to physically block the border? Well, over half of the umpteen million of illegal immigrants are Mexican immigrants. This information was found on migrationpolicy.org. It's a very reputable website. Also, Mexican immigrants, as I've stated, in the U.S., remit money back to Mexico on a regular basis. Money is leaving the U.S. economy. It is lowering our GDP, our gross domestic product, annually. And this is unacceptable. Also, high-income countries are the main source of remittances. That's obviously not a big surprise. And lower-income countries are the main recipients, and developing countries are the main recipients of these remittances. The United States, however, now why is this such a big deal for the United States? Well, I'll tell you another reason. The United States is by far the largest source of remittances, which means the United States is giving foreign countries more of their money and more of their GDP than any other country in the world. They're taking money out of my pocket and they're taking money out of your pocket because they're taking money out of the U.S. economy that would stimulate the U.S. economy and flow repeatedly over and over again through the U.S. economy, through businesses here on our domestic property. Let's go over an estimate. Let's go over some numbers here. There were 56.3 billion recorded in outflows in 2014 internationally. That information is provided by the World Bank. That's a lot of money leaving countries, and without the legal right to do so. Remittances to Mexico are 24 billion. That comprises nearly half of the total remittances in all of the entire globe. So this is a huge problem. The Mexico remittances, and their source being the United States, is extremely high. And that's what the left isn't getting here. The remittances to Mexico are 24 billion of the total remittances to all developing countries in the world and countries of lower income. That total 56.3 billion, nearly half go to Mexico, which is 2% of the US GDP, or it was at least in 2014, which that quote is still nearly the same. So anyway, I've talked about the Mexico-United States corridor. It's the largest in the world by a long shot. It's over 3 times more migrants than the second largest corridor, which is the Russian Federation to Ukraine. So that was obviously in 2013. So a couple aspects are a little outdated. Number 3, Bangladesh and India. Number 4, Ukraine to Russian Federation. So as you can see, Mexico to the United States is an issue. It's right here in front of your eyes. This information is from the worldbank.org. You can check it out for yourself. It's the most recent up-to-date chart that I could find. Let's go a little bit lower. We see also India to the United States is on the list at 2 million. Mexico to the United States is 13 million. And China to the United States is about 2.5 million. So the U.S. lets in a significant amount of people through its migration corridors compared to the rest of the world. And let's bear in mind, India severely lacks in population control. They have over 1 billion people in their country. It's absolutely ludicrous. There's absolutely no population control, and the U.S. should not be held responsible for that. Further, China has controlled their population, but yet their population is still exceeds 1 billion. And the United States of 300 some million is letting in more immigrants than any other nation, it looks like. And we just can't, we can't take care of everybody's problems, aka we can't take care of everybody's people. Let's get rid of that image. You know, there's been a lot of hatred toward Trump because of this wall by the left side of the nation. Anyway, we only have a few seconds left. We're going to get back after these brief commercials, and I hope you stay tuned in. We'll take a call from a guest speaker. I don't know his opinion on the wall yet, but we'll find out, and please stay tuned in. Thank you.
It's a new year, new you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper, home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
El Rey in Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hello, welcome back to the Katy Sissine Show, addressing the indoctrination of the American nation. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at KatyFYNTV and send me emails with suggestions, comments, whatever to katy@fetchyournews.com. You can also check out my Facebook under my name. I do like to start debates on there occasionally, maybe every other day. Just depends on how I'm feeling. Now, we left off on the break. I told you I was going to have a guest call in and he would express his views on the wall for us, and I don't know his views yet, so I am anticipating this call just as much as you are right now. But what I do want to go over before I take that call is the conception that the left has of the wall versus the conception that the right has of the wall, and how they're so opposite from one another. We have the left saying that this wall is a symbol of xenophobia and it's unnecessary and immigration rates are lower than ever. Then on the conservative side, we have the conservatives saying that this is necessary for national security, as we are the most powerful nation in the world. It is vital that we protect our national borders as much as possible. And you know, the more powerful you get, the more enemies you have, the more people are going to try to take you down. Now, we know that Trump wants to have more amicable relations with other superpowers, which I think is a great idea. And me personally, I am all for national security. So I also think that because of the amount of GDP that we're losing annually to remittances sent back to Mexico, that compose half the remittances worldwide sent back to a country from another country, about 24 billion of 56 billion annually of remittances goes back to Mexico. And of course, most of that, if not all of it, is sourced out of the United States. Well, much of it is, not all of it, but a lot of it is a significant portion. And it slowly but surely damages our economy. It takes money out of the pockets of every single American citizen, whether you're conservative or whether you are liberal or whether you are undecided. It doesn't matter what your political party is, it takes money out of your pocket. And that's why the Trump administration wants to protect our borders so that more money is here for you and I in the long run. Yes, the taxes, the tariffs on Mexican goods, as well as Chinese goods, may cost more for American citizens, but let's bear in mind that many of those goods are bought by Mexican and Chinese immigrants, etc. They very much want to buy products from their native country. So let's keep that in mind when we say that the American people will be paying for the wall by tariffs. Bear in mind that many or most of the people that buy these Mexican goods are actually Mexican. So there you go. Now I have Winston on the line from Atlanta, Georgia, and there's a photo of Winston up there, as you can see. Hi, Winston. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, Katie. I want to extend my thanks to you and give me this opportunity to speak on your show. When it comes to the wall, it's a really big statement. Like, when I first heard about Trump talking about the wall, that raised a flag in my head. As far as, I'd never really seen or heard a statement, of that stature when it comes to national security spoken by anybody. I'm sure there were talks about it, but anybody, in a big public forum to suggest that, well, I hope
It's a
it'll do
big
well.
deal.
It is a very big deal, and I hope it will be something that works to protect national security, because that is very important. I don't know what other alternatives other than a wall that could be used to really protect us, because I was looking at something on CNN yesterday. They were showing the border between Mexico and the U.S., and it's really a small little fence that you can just hop over or hop under. So that is a big concern. I don't know. It has a. Were you going to say something?
Well, I mean, and rather than allow people to sacrifice their lives and cross the border, I believe that this is going to benefit Mexicans, Central Americans, and South Americans security-wise, because they won't be tempted to hop the border at all, which means they won't be tempted to risk their life to get out of their countries. And, the United States, we want to help as many nations in the world as we can. But in order for us to do that optimally, I believe that we have to look out for our own citizens that are already here first. And, I think that by sending the message that you absolutely cannot just hop the border and risk your life to do so, by physically building a barrier, it's going to be better for everyone in the long run. It might not, and let's bear in mind, this could be a temporary thing. And people think, oh, Trump wants to build a wall, like it's the new Great Wall of China, it's going to be an emblem of xenophobia in the U.S. But, in reality, we have to take into consideration this could be a temporary thing until Mexico, Central America, and South America become more economically stable. The Berlin Wall, that separated East and West Berlin and essentially separated communism in the East and democracy in the West, that was temporary. So there's no doubt in my mind that this could be seen as a temporary solution as well, just based on historical facts. And I know that personally, I'm in favor for this wall due to national security. And I have friends from Mexico who are in this country, obviously legally as citizens that I go to school with, that are in favor of this wall as well. But you hear both sides of it. So I know for sure it's not a xenophobia thing, because I personally know Mexican American citizens that believe it's, for our own security.
That's definitely a good point. I'm very open to the idea of the wall, and and it's what it represents, the fact that, like you said, you cannot just come in here all willy-nilly, just walk over into the country and, make a living for your family. There are other ways to do, like, actually legally get your visa, get your green card, whatever you need to do. But I will support this wall because it's something different that we haven't tried before. Unless we have, I wouldn't know. I haven't done enough research on, past events that would set this precedent. But let's see what happens with it. Regardless of the opinions of Mr. Trump, outside of the presidency and his personal life, what's done is done. And we all have to move forward as Americans and support the commander-in-chief for the benefit of the country, despite what many people may think about him.
Right. I completely agree with you. I think that any president that wants to look out for the people is starting in the right direction. So Trump has made some statements on the border himself. I don't know if you've heard, but Trump said that, some things that I've mentioned earlier. He said that the wall will deter illegal immigration from Central America, which will thus prevent potential shootings of foreigners trying to cross the border. He also said we're going to get the gangs out by, by mitigating the illegal immigration that's already taking place, we can focus on the illegal immigrants that are already here and put more effort and security, because we'll have a physical wall. We can put more men on the ground in areas such as California and Texas, in areas where gangs are prevalent and composed of illegal immigrants. We can focus on getting them out of the United States. So that's another positive. And he said that the results will benefit both the United States and Mexico. Now, Nieto, the president of Mexico, is highly against it. He says this divides us, not unites, because Nieto, I'm assuming, is a believer in open borders, which means, are you familiar with open borders and the meaning of open borders?
No, I'm not. Please enlighten me.
Okay, so the left, at least for the sake of this last election and the couple previous elections, with the left campaigning against the right, the left is clearly in favor of what's called open borders, and that is a world where everyone is free to move from country to country, with very little national regulation, which obviously means they're highly against a physical barrier between Mexico and the United States. But the problem with that is that if we allow open borders, we allow people from various cultures to basically go somewhere with a totally opposite culture and live there with the same rights just as any other citizen. Now, we've seen the problems that this can cause. We've seen these problems in Israel that borders Palestine, and the near civil wars that have erupted there because of more land developments by Israelis into Jerusalem and vice versa. And there's a huge religious war over there. So I just, as this is a nation founded under God, we are a nation backed by religion. And I think that, religion and culture matter. And there's a religious wars going on right now. There's a religious war between the Muslims. And it's not just an attack on America. It's an attack against all Muslims. These radical Islamist groups want to make every Muslim, they want to get every Muslim on their side, and if they're not on their side, they want to exterminate them. Now, there's a religious war going on, but yet the left is saying that we are capable of having open borders, and this is just not possible yet. The world is not ready for this.
Yeah, the open borders thing, that's really touchy. I'm not exactly in favor of that, because it does open America. If we're just specifically speaking about America, it does open us up to potential people who are want to bring harm to us. So I think the open borders thing, it's good in theory, but put into practice, I don't think that's a good idea.
I completely agree with you. Well, Winston, we're running out of time for today. I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I'm sending you good vibes.
Good vibes your way too, and please stay tuned in to FYN TV.
You have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to the show today. We will be back same time tomorrow, 10 a.m., and hope to see you then.